Hey guys, this is MikeGoG with another King Arthur Legends Rise video. We got Herja in the game. We're back in here. Got quite a bit to actually update here. I've been kind of collecting stuff in my account here for the last little bit. Got some summons to get through and get Herja on the account. But before we jump in, let's take a peek at her kit and see what she's actually bringing to the table. I have not looked at anything yet, so this will be fresh for me. Pretty cool looking champion. She's got she's got a burnt wing there. Oh, that's a bummer, dude. Oh, that makes me sad. So why can't she have two wings? But let's go ahead and take a look at her passive. Her first passive, when using a skill, 100% independent chance to grant each ally effect accuracy increase and stag favor ally amplification. So again, we're kind of working around the need for vigor sets when she's with a stag favor. So that's going to be pretty helpful. I believe Caliber and Arthur's stag, if I remember correctly. So that could be a pretty cool way of getting some extra damage out of him, just because you're building him with ascension and damage, so he doesn't have the vigor set. So having somebody on the team like Anika that can get him the extra vigor when he needs it could be pretty big. As we look at this, this is her kit when she's entirely maxed out with all of her chivalries. So some of these might gain extra turns as she books up and gain chivalries. So that's just something to keep in mind as we review her kit. When using skill 2 specifically, 100% chance to inflict Shadow of Despair on the target for 2 turns, and a chance to remove abnormal status immunity from each enemy. So that's kind of interesting. I think I'm trying to think who else does that. That might be pretty unique to her kit. But Shadow of Despair here is defense down, which is going to be pretty big. Again, that being a debuff, working with Caliber and Arthur will set off his Stygian aura, I'm assuming. So that would be a pretty good duo going that route. If he is a stag, I'll have to double check. I'm pretty sure he's a stag. And then when hit, 100% chance to take additional damage 2 times. Total damage is 0.2% of attack and 30% of attacker's attack. So that's kind of a cool debuff in the sense of bringing defense down as well as doing extra damage to that target. So that's pretty solid. And as we move over to her third ability here, when attacking, 100% chance to inflict hits taken to attack down on selected target for 2 turns, as well as hit taken to affect resistance down on select target for 2 turns. And then damage taken increase on the select target. So that, again, that's going to be, I believe, the same situation that Morgan's placing on her A2 or her passive 2 alongside defense down. So she's doing that on her passive 1, which is pretty cool. And then these pieces here is just going to bring attack down. So something like this could work out well for Weisskalag. And just other bosses in general, and then the effect resistance down, also just allowing your team to land their debuffs and so forth. So that's going to be pretty helpful as well. And I think she was doing effect accuracy increase, so she increases the accuracy, brings their resistance down, so chance of getting those debuffs on are pretty solid. Looks like she's coming into the game with the Frost Relic on the A1. She attacks one enemy 2 times. Total damage is pretty soft on the A1. It always is. Attack each point of effect accuracy, increasing damage, additional damage point of 1% of attack. So this is kind of interesting. Building her with a lot of effect accuracy is actually going to boost her attack. So that's going to be a lot, like in a couple cases you have effect resistance does that for Hild, as well as I believe it works that way on Anya as well. So here we're going to build her with effect accuracy. So she's definitely going to be landing her debuffs, but it's also going to make her do more damage, which is kind of cool. 100% chance for the last hit to inflict defense down 1 for 1 turn. And so that's 1 turn is a little rough. I mean, it is an A1, but the 1 turn, you put that right on before they go and get a turn. None of your people even get a chance to hit that champion and actually utilize that defense down. So 1 turn debuffs are a little bit weak. Just kind of like the timing becomes a big play. But that is her A1, so maybe we got something better on her A2 or A3. On her A2 here, where she attacks 1 enemy, damage 204%. If the target has protection, 100% chance to inflict defense down 1 on the selected target for, again, 1 turn, and that's going to be any protection. So that's going to be barriers and shields. So if you're going up against a Brennan, this could be pretty helpful. Although, again, it's just going on for 1 turn. So depending on where she's going, you might want to run her a little bit slower, just so that she puts it on after the enemy goes, and then your whole team gets a chance to go again. But typically you want these debuffs on before your damage dealer does damage, so it'd be kind of a timing thing where you really want her to kind of go before before, say, your Caliber and Arthur. But then your Caliber and Arthur needs to be fast enough where they do hit the enemy before they take a turn, because otherwise this debuff just falls off. And then on the A3 here, attacks all enemies 5 times. So a big AoE, 5 times total damage, 110% of attack. Each point of accuracy is actually scaling at 1.2% attack. So again, building her with solid accuracy is going to be a big win there. 5 hits is going to be pretty solid for like Penvid, although it is her A3 to keep in mind there. 100% chance for the last hit to inflict defense down for, again, 1 turn. None of them are going to do 2 turns. That's pretty brutal. But that is going to be a pretty solid situation. Probably going to want her to go like 1 or 2 speed faster than your Caliber and Arthur. That way, if she's putting up this debuff, he's getting a turn right away. You don't want people kind of splitting them, because the debuff falls off, then it doesn't engage his Stygian aura, and it becomes kind of, kind of lackluster. But if you can get this on there, and it is actually the weak version too, which is kind of surprising. For a legendary character, you would think that she would have a defense down 2 at least, I would think. But that's what we got going on as far as that goes. Let's take a peek at her chivalries. Well, silly me, I got to get her on the account before I can see her chivalries. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump in the item bag and do some summons here. We got this guy out of the Forbidden Dungeon. I think we got the other one. I might have bought that in. We got a flame relic. So anticlimactic. Gwen's flame relic there. I'm not sure if that's new or not. We'll have to take a peek and see. And let's see if we got another legendary one coming in here. Let's see what we get. We got Nika's Storm. I'm pretty sure that is new for me. So let's jump in here and take a peek and see if either of those were new. But I'm pretty sure Nika, yeah, that Storm Relic is new for me. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one in there. So we are starting to get some of these on the account, but we'll take a peek over at Gawain's, was it the Flame? Part of me feels like I had that before. He starts with the Storm, and yeah, I already had the Flame on there. But he is a damage dealer, so that could be a benefit to actually get that enhanced and upgraded. Let's see here. Those we won't pull right now. We're going to go ahead and do these just in case we get lucky. See if we get anything good. Those are all rares. That's pretty good. We don't. Those are all going to just go into extras as far as upgrading. Still trying to max out all of those. Jared's Frost Relics, one that I got 44 of these guys. You can see I've been in the game kind of doing my thing, but there wasn't really a lot to talk about, and I did have that whole thing going on with Godforge. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on those videos. It's been pretty fun. Got one rare with Ban there, and got that Frost Relic there, but a bunch of other ones going on. Just trying to get those stacked up. But let's jump over into Lake Avalon, and we're going to see about getting Herja on the account here. We got 60 going on here. Let's take a peek at who else is in the pool. We got Gawain, we got Sigrun, we got Caliber and Arthur, and Anya. So I think a copy of Anya would set me, I think she's on Chivalry level 9. So that would get me there. Caliber and Arthur's already at 10, so I'd basically just be turning that into tokens. And then these two champions I don't really use a whole lot. So I gotta say this is probably not the best for me. But if it does get my Anya to Chivalry level 10, that'd be pretty good. I do have 50 of the raid up summons. I've been getting those. I just kind of get them on the account. With the reset going on, there might be areas I can buy those, but we're going to go ahead and summon these right now, and then if we have to go all the way to Pity, we'll go ahead and do that with some crystals here. So let's give it a shot and see what we got going on. It feels weird. It's been a long time since I've summoned on the account, because I've been so focused on playing Godforge and stacking up resources and so forth. So 3 rares, pretty good. We'll take that. Turn those guys into tokens for the shard shop. See if we can get anything a little bit better. Hopefully we don't go all the way to Pity though. Would like to get that extra copy of Anya if we could. I'm not sure. It's going to depend on the chivalries as far as how many chivalries you really need for this champion. But it is going to be pretty beneficial to have her as a supplement to Caliber and Arthur. Because right now I pretty much have to run Morgan with Caliber and Arthur in order to get the defense down and really do the damage I want. Or a Clarison, but having somebody that has the stag favor and gives him a little extra vigor, I think is going to be probably a pretty big win. So I think she would be a great counter to Caliber, or not counter, but a great assist to Caliber and Arthur. Especially for Hall of Conquerors and stuff like that, where you can start using some of your other defense down champions and other bosses. Be a pretty big benefit. But here we go. I think this is the last 50 right here. Hopefully we don't go all the way to Pity. Oh man. Take a peek at these rares we got. We got Bodwin. We got, oh well, these guys are pretty good too. I've been stacking those up. I have gone through, and on the talismans, I'm pretty much all maxed out on talisman. So with new champions coming in the game, that's the only time I really need the talisman, which is kind of fun because I can focus my my energy in the sealed temple on just getting tomes for all my relics. But this one here, we are guaranteed. Hopefully we can get 2 because we just ran through 60 summons. It's pretty crazy. Here we go. We got the hyperflex there. Can we get more than 1? And no, we did not. So we got her on the account pretty big time right there. So we'll take that. Have you learned nothing from losing your wing? Oh, they called her out on her missing wing. That's brutal. I'm sorry about your missing wing. She's a pretty cool looking champion though. All right, so we got a new legendary on the account. I think for the time being, we're going to sit tight with 1 copy and we'll see how we need to do with these chivalries and how far we really need to take her. She's going to be all the way at the end of my list here. Got to go all the way through all the champions. There she is. All right, let's take a peek at those chivalries and see what we got going on. So with her first chivalry, she gets the hits taken increased to also include effect resistance for 2 turns. So that's going to be a benefit in helping her land her debuffs. Now that being said, she is doing accuracy increase, and you want to build her with a lot of accuracy, so resistance down's probably not going to be huge, but it is going to be helpful. So this second chivalry seems like it's going to be pretty strong. It changes the Overture of Revenge skill effect to when using a skill, and that's where she gets the amplification for stag favors for 2 turns, which is going to be helpful with bringing damage dealers extra vigor when they need it. That amplification brings in that extra vigor, so keeping that rolling is going to be pretty helpful. So I'd say Chivalry 2 is probably going to be a pretty big one for her. On the third chivalry here with Torn Wing skill enhancement changes Riven Shadow to Shadow of Despair. So that's where we're going to get the extra hit with extra damage. So that's going to actually double the damage taken and put defense down. So we got 0.1 and 15%, moves to 0.2 and 30%, and it gives you the 20% defense down as well. So that's going to be a pretty big one for her as well. In that third skill, Fallen Temptation skill enhancement, 100% chance to inflict damage taken increase. So that's going to be a big one as well, getting the damage taken up. And then on the fifth chivalry, at the start of battle, 100% chance to grant each stag favorite ally Oath of Blood for the rest of the battle. And Oath of Blood is when attacking Herja's to use her skill 1 with a 2-turn cooldown. So if you have stag favorite allies attacking, it sounds like she's going to be assisting that attack and has that chance to get the defense down. So that's going to be helpful that it's only up for 1 turn, because she's going to be constantly assisting if you build her on a stag team. So those are your first 5 chivalries. I'd say they're all going to be pretty solid. I would probably aim to get at least to this chivalry level 3. The fourth one, you get the damage taken increase, and then you get the assisted attack. So I'd say the 5 chivalries are going to be pretty strong from her. From there, I think we're going to be just picking up stats along the way. So that's going to be pretty standard as far as that goes. So chivalry level 5 is going to make her a significantly stronger champion. But my first thoughts, without really using her and going into what's going on here, I do feel like she's almost like a poor man's Morgan. She doesn't do the turn meter manipulation. She might do a little more damage with the effect accuracy build and getting that extra attack. And then with the assist, she might be able to kind of stack up some of those defense downs occasionally, depending on how fast you're running. But there is going to be a little bit of a struggle because they only go up, those debuffs only go up for 1 turn. So it's going to be really hard for her to stack those up. From what I can tell. Now that being said, if you had her an entire stag and she's on 2-turn cooldown, so every other turn she's going to assist and potentially stack another defense down, it could be pretty good. So I mean, the jury's out. But I would say with Morgan and the turn meter manipulation and that kind of thing, I think that Morgan is a stronger controlled champion overall. But I think that her being tied into the stag favor and giving that extra amplification specifically for Caliber and Arthur is probably going to be a pretty strong duo. But I think that's about what I got for you for Herja for now. I'm going to go ahead and build her, get her going, and then we'll kind of play around to see what she's doing. Probably do another video in the next day or so. I am heading up to the lake this weekend for my mom's birthday, so I'm going to have to try to get these videos out before I go. Probably only get maybe 2 or 3 out, maybe would be my guess, but we'll see how it goes. But happy to have Herja on the account here. She's a pretty cool looking champion and keeping me at 100% for all the champions in the game. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.